So I think it's titled Before Brexit, because analog pounds and digital pounds are now worth a lot less than they were pre. But it's okay in the UK, it's all right. So I work for Channel 4. We're a public service broadcaster. We attract quite a young upmarket audience that are early adopters of technology. So we have to be quite future-facing in terms of what we do. And I'm going to talk today mostly about kind of OTT VOD and what we're doing in that area, as opposed to addressable linear that we discussed this morning. We're also owned by the government, so we don't have to report to the city every 3 months, and we're not for profit. So we have the advantage of being able to invest now for the future. And I think we probably made 5 quite big bets as Channel 4 over the last, probably 15 years. The first was to launch a suite of digital channels as a digital TV took off. The second was 4OD, which is our OTT video on demand, and I think we were the first broadcaster to launch one of those globally. The third was to invest in quite a significant data strategy in terms of collecting our viewer data, which started about 6 or 7 years ago. The fourth was digital-first content on all 4, and the fifth was programmatic. However, and I need a little clicker, do I? I don't know where that is. You've stolen it. That's a schoolboy error, isn't it? But the world's different. We've heard this morning, we've got these kind of big global behemoths. So we've got the kind of top guys, SVOD, no advertising, big budgets, big scary kind of global players coming into the market. We've got to compete with them in terms of quality content. And then at the bottom, we've got the big global scary guys who are trying to steal all our ad dollars. So I think there's space for all of us to prosper. I don't think it's someone wins, someone loses, but it's definitely more competitive out there. So where are we in terms of our VOD proposition? Well, Channel 4 has over 10,000 hours of content that's all available free to viewers in the UK, all ad-funded. Delivers about 50 million views a month. Our views grew 25% year on year in 2016. We reach about a third of young adults in the average month, and we have over 15 million people registered with Channel 4 in the UK. And we have their name, their email address, their address, gender, and obviously we know all of their viewing behaviour. And also we can take their first-party data and append it with second- and third-party data to get into behavioural segments. It's not a bad place to be, but we think we kind of need to go harder and faster to compete with those guys I just went through. So editorially, 4OD was definitely a catch-up service. So the only thing you could watch on 4OD was stuff that had been on Channel 4 or E4 or More 4 previously. But about 2 years ago, we decided to invest in digital-first content. And a major deal we did at the start of last year was a major collection of foreign drama that a guy called Walter Isaluno, who's an ex-Channel 4 commissioner, had gone around the world and collected, and then he kind of offered to us. Been hugely successful in terms of driving incremental views to all 4, and most of it hasn't appeared on any linear channel previously. And we've rolled that out, and we've started to acquire a lot more series and also commission them. So in this year, we've commissioned over 55 series exclusively for all 4. And we're aiming to kind of develop that further. So we've now got a specific all 4 commissioning budget. We treat all 4 as an editorial destination in its own right, with its own brand, and we also treat it almost like its own channel. And we think we need to invest behind that, so it's got its own commissioning budget. So we've developed a number of strands this year we think are going to appeal to a young audience and to sit below to make navigation easier, but also so we can market them. And one of the biggest successes of Walter Presents was we had a really good marketing platform to market all this content beneath, because that is a big challenge of driving audiences in a digital world, is you don't have the linear schedule to point people there. Now, the major commercial advantage of this, and obviously this is a commercial presentation, is that having a scaled digital platform with lots of great content on it has enabled us to build a huge branded content business. Now, linear AFP, or ad-funded programming, has always been quite marginal in the UK because of Ofcom compliance rules, and it's just a difficult process to get ad-funded programming into prime slots in the linear schedule. And so we've always done bits and pieces, but it's not been huge. In a digital platform, clearly you've got no opportunity cost of a linear schedule, and we're able to take more risks and the costs are lower. And we've managed to deliver huge revenue growth, and this is our fastest growing business strand at the moment. And revenues have grown about 7-fold from 2014 when we started it. One example this year, and also additionally, what we are doing is we are using the social platforms, so Facebook, Snapchat, YouTube, to deliver broader distribution to make sure the advertisers get bang for their buck and maximize their reach. So it's almost monetizing Facebook and the social platforms by getting advertisers to give us money up front for content and then using these platforms as more marketing platforms. So we think that's a slightly cleverer way maybe than taking rev share from a YouTube or a Facebook, because clearly they only want to give us 50%, which is not enough, as we all know. I won't play that. So this is Trigger Happy TV, which was a show that we ran on Channel 4 about 8-9 years ago. Foster's sponsors comedy for us. So they paid to bring Trigger Happy TV back for all 4 this year. Did a huge amount of views and was really successful. So branded content is kind of one way we can make more money from digital environment. But I think what's really important is advertising is a huge part of our VOD investment. So the VOD business for us in the UK is about £100 million this year. That's 10% of Channel 4's total revenue. It's growing at 25-30% a year. And we think we take about 40-45% of the broadcast VOD market in the UK compared to a linear share of about 20. So it's a really successful business strand for us. But clearly we are competing against other competitors who purport to deliver online video and online TV, like YouTube, like Facebook. But advertising is still our bread and butter. So what we really focus on, and we do charge premium prices for our VOD product, is that basically transparency and trust for us is really important. So as in TV, we guarantee to advertisers that 100% of their ads are going to appear in top quality, safe content. They're 100% above the fold, and they are viewable. They're actually watched by someone human. Get that? No bots. They've all got sound. And they're all not blocked. So again, we have a technology in Channel 4 in which that we don't let people with ad blockers watch our content. And that's really important for us because clearly that's a big monetized problem if people start blocking our ads. They're 98% views versus market norms about 40 to 60%. And we're also very happy for any agency, any client to come into Channel 4 and audit these stats. And most of our data is independently audited already by PwC. So we're really transparent and open about how this do. We attract extremely valuable audience that's young and up market, and we're building a relationship with them. And we've got all these people to sign up. And that allows us to understand their viewing history, their viewing behavior. It allows us to improve our content, the UI for the All4 platform, and obviously deliver more targeted and more relevant advertising to them. So we can understand how particular shows kind of translate from fans into wider audiences, and we can start to build content universes, and we understand what kind of programs people watch over here and what programs they might be interested over here to build recommendation engines and all that kind of stuff. So it's all quite techie stuff. From an advertising perspective, clearly we've had a realm of innovation which has underpinned most of our revenue growth since kind of 2014. So in simple terms, we kind of have the ABC of targeting now. I won't do the video. So we do audiences, so you can target very sophisticated demographic audiences. Appending third-party data, we can look at behavioural stuff in terms of shows people watch, but also what people are buying. And then we're looking now at hyper-contextual advertising. So not only the program you advertise in, but the moment within the program that you advertise with. And that's kind of some R&D we're doing at the moment around kind of video recognition and what happens in the actual program. Now this targeting is proven to be more effective, and therefore it's more valuable, and therefore it's driven much higher yields for us. We also did the world's first personalised video advertising with Coke and Burberry kind of 18 months, 2 years ago, and we rolled that out into a scalable product. Again, the yields for these products are fantastic. And as you've seen, we've been partnering with David in YoSpace to deliver DAI, so we can deliver gender and demographically targeting advertising in live streams. And we got the rights to the Formula One last year. So we delivered about 800,000 additional ad impressions through DAI in last week's Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. So again, a huge amount of incremental revenue we weren't monetizing before because we were running the same ads in live video streaming as we were on Channel 4. So the next big evolution in VOD is actually the big TV. So VOD for us in the UK is moving much more back to the big screen. So in 2012, about 43% of, or 22%, 34% of VOD was watched on the big screen. And this year, by the end of 2016, about 60% of all our video on demand is being watched on the big screen. So we need to make sure that we're offering all of this data technology, all of this interactive video advertising on the big TV, which means it's much more complicated to collect audiences. So we have to partner with the likes of Sky to enable us to get access to their data. So this kind of, I guess, partnership with your frenemies is definitely important to deliver what our clients and customers want. Clearly, getting people to register on the big screen is more difficult, so we have to offer really good benefits for them. So big screen registration, so we're offering play and resume, my list viewing on my floor, and also working with the TV set manufacturers themselves, like Samsung, to enable us to collect data more easily. In terms of programmatic, we had to wait quite a long time for technology to deliver programmatic in video, but we were the first to launch with massive support from Freewheel. And programmatic for us is not about commoditization and a race to the bottom. For us, it was about growing revenues and growing our yield. And to allow people to trade programmatically with us, they had to buy our higher yield audiences. And this is about private marketplaces, fixed price, and no pass back in inventory. So we do programmatic in a TV style, not necessarily what they do in display. We're going to trade about 50% of our revenue through a programmatic platform, and what it does is enables agencies to access our first-party data in a blind way, which doesn't compromise our viewer privacy. And that's kind of it from me, so I'll finish there. Thank you very much.
Hang on. I'm sure we've got a few minutes for questions. Has anyone got a question? Already we've got a question. Could we get a microphone to this lady here? Could you tell us who you are and where you're from as well, as in which company you're from?
Should I just start anyway?
Yeah, start anyway.
I can hear you.
Hi, my name is Laura Chimey, and I work for NBC Middle East Broadcast Center, the biggest TV company in the Middle East. My question is really about first-party data, and a lot of businesses think consumers only want to log in through Facebook Connect. And as we keep allowing our consumers to log in with social services, we're effectively handing over all of our data. How did your business convince and show benefits for consumers having a direct relationship with you and you getting the first-party data?
Yeah, it's quite a slow process, actually. I mean, originally we did offer the choice of logging in with Facebook or your own data, and that was the kind of decision we took to make it easy at the start. And we tried to do two things, really. I think we tried to incentivize people to want to register with us, so exclusive access to premieres, kind of loyalty bonuses and competitions, and all that kind of stuff. So there's a positive benefit of being, I suppose, a member of Channel 4. But over time, we also kind of had a stick. So we kept on putting more and more of our content behind the registration wall. So we started off, archive content was a thing you needed to register for. But now to access all of our content, you have to register. So you can't access Channel 4 unless you're registered now. But that was a slow process over 6 years of slowly transforming our business. And at every point that we put another barrier in place, from an advertising perspective, we had to kind of hold our breath and go, oh my God, what's it going to do to viewing growth? But I suppose we've always had the strategic kind of bloody-mindedness to say, even if our views don't grow as quickly or even go down, we're still worth more having the registered viewer watch less programs than the other way around. And we're very, very pure on that. And it causes some real arguments sometimes in Channel 4 between various departments, but I think at an executive team level, we always side on the fact, right, viewer registration is really important. So we just recently introduced registration on Samsung TVs, and we modelled it, and we thought, oh, well, viewing might decline 10%. In the first week, viewing declined 30%. So everyone went, oh my word. But then literally 2 or 3 weeks later, that balanced out and got back to about a run rate of only down 5, because it just takes a bit of time for consumers to get with the programme. And also, it's a bit more difficult to register with your TV remote control.
I think we have time for one more question, if we've got I'll ask one quick question then. Yep. You said that it was a 50% split between programmatic and non-programmatic.
Yep.
Is that the current state? And if it is the current state, where do you think it's going to end up? Or is that where you think it's going to end up?
Yeah, so I think probably 2014 we're about 15%.
Yeah.
This year I think we'll be at 30%. Next year I think 50%.
Yeah.
Eventually I think most of our VOD will be traded programmatically.
Yeah.
Because of the way it's done, it's more effective, it's more efficient. clearly people are going out to sell this stuff, and there's iVods and there's partnerships and all that kind of other stuff you do in digital. But in terms of, I suppose the spot trade, I can imagine most of it were programmatic. Now, I think what's interesting though is that I think there may well be a bifurcation of how VOD's sold, which comes back to what I think Erwin was saying this morning, and Thomas from Freewheel, is that potentially most of VOD will be traded in a very digital way, but also VOD may become more aligned with linear in a way, especially for those big premium spots. So I think it'd be interesting to see what agencies want from at the moment, because it seems at the moment it's quite separate, and actually there may be some merging of it going forward, particularly on the big screen. Whereas if you're watching a program on All 4 on the big screen, it's no real different than watching it on a PVR that you've recorded earlier. So I think that's the probably decisions we need to make over the next kind of 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, great. Well, a round of applause, everybody. Thank you very much.